This is my house. Welcome to my house. This is a hedgehog. This is a dog. And this is a bear. That's right, this is the Beorning class. We're going to talk about the Beorning class and all three of its lines and cover just what you're expected to do and how to play it well. I will explain that I'm not the best Beorning in the game. I'm not the best geared, but I am competent and I'll hopefully be able to teach you a little thing or two. So all three lines are very viable. Don't listen to fucking idiots who say that healing's not very good. Yeah, okay, for the highest tier shit, you want to be using like a Runekeeper or a Minstrel. But like, for the most things, Beorning healing is actually very good, and it's also very fun. But let's talk about the DPS line. Probably the most strongest out of all three lines at the moment, DPS. So DPS is all about hitting skills and using cash outs. For DPS, you want to be using a two-hander. For the other lines, you can use dual wielding for the extra stats, but you get more damage for a two-hander in DPS. It's just how it is. You have all these skills. I'm not going to explain them more. You're a grown adult. You can read the tooltips. So, DPS is all about using your skills and using these cash outs for the big fucking damage hits. Wrath is your power. It's all about maintaining the Wrath. But in each line, there are ways to keep Wrath very high and keep it maintained too. It's not really a problem unless you fuck up. I'm not going to explain all these skills. You're a grown adult, you can read the tooltips, but I'll explain that for maintenance you want to keep Armor Crush and Bees up on the targets as much as possible. And also your bleeds as well. But you don't really have to use Slash in Mound form. It's in Redline because it's not that potent. Also Composure, very nice heal, but it also increases Wrath when you trade in blue. I'm talking about traits. You can figure it out yourself. It's all up to you. But I'll just explain how this class functions. You have your cooldowns. Alright, your DPS cooldowns. You may as well pop them off to begin the fight. And you begin. Cut either Bees or Bash with Vicious, but this is where it gets fun. Ferocious Roar. Right? Boom! Big fucking 300k hit. We can do that again. I'll explain as I'm doing it. So this skill, for some reason, doesn't cost Wrath, but also doesn't take Ferocious. So when you use Ferocious, right, your next skill is guaranteed to crit. So you use Ferocious, then you use Vigilant, and then one of these, right? It's just an extra little bit of damage. So let's just do it again, right? It's all just about using your skills, using it whenever you can. Getting those bleeds, keeping them up. Just gonna use it. Why not? Why not use it now? Fuck it. We're not talking about efficiency here. We're talking about how to play the skills. Ideally, you want to be using Ferocious just before execute because that's the big damage. If in case you run out of Wrath somehow, there's an item you can use. It's called Bear Crack, Grizzly Potion of Rage. It gives you an instant 50 Wrath. It's incredibly useful for any line, most particularly yellow. Yellow is one of those where you really need to be keeping up your Wrath. And I'll explain in a minute. So, this is how I trait yellow. I trait it so that I always have Armor Crush on any line. There are reasons when you can not, if you've got another Beorning, for example. Outgoing damage debuff. Very nice. You want to be using it on the nastiest bitch. So yellow line is kind of a mix of just big AoE healing with a little bit of support. You've got your Bee Swarm and Armor Crush. You have Piercing Roar. You also have Mark Grimpeal. Basically, you just put down the tank and you can forget about it. That's a very efficient way of doing it. There are ways where you can sort of pop it on different allies depending on who needs healing, because Encourage and Roar gives you a heal over time if Marker Grimbeon is present, and I believe also Hearten is stronger as well. You have more reason to go into man form because you have heals on man form, but they're all single target. So, I'm just going to get into combat just to show you. You have a few mechanics. You have Slash. It builds up something called Aid and Strike, which is very nice outgoing healing modifier. Boom, here's your heals. Big fucking burst heal. Right? I'm just going to get my debuffs off. And again, this one, Ferocious Roar and Yellow Line, instead of being a crit, the next skill you use has no wrath cost. So you really want to be using it with like one of these, or maybe even Recuperate. Now, why do I have Recuperate, you ask? Good question. It's because this skill, Nature's Bond, this skill, any heal you put out, right, has a chance to heal whoever's on Mark of Grimbeorn. Aside from it being a nice self-heal, so I'm not wasting my own heals on myself, it's nice to pop it off, just occasionally. So it's just an extra potential heal for the tank, really. It's nice to have. I like it. Your only real buff to maintain for yourself is slashing, and I'll give you a little trick now, watch this. You can use slash in bear form. If you use it now, if I just like do this, and then you do it now, it will turn you into a man. Or, in my case, a woman. What else? This tears up to be like more potent as you use it. It's not the best heal, but it helps. Alright, so like, say someone's low, boom. Alright, I'm on my 4th tier, don't have to worry about it. This is a nice one. To your aid. Strong single target. Also adds 20 to your wrath. Fuck using this skill, right? Yeah, I'm already 100 wrath because I've been using fucking to your aid. Right, let's talk about bear heals, right? Very good heals. Encourage and Roar. Fucking use it as much as possible. Bellow is your AoE. It's a very strong one as well. So basically, you want to be using that off cooldown. Maintain Hearten on like your tank or whoever needs a bit of health. Get this up for Wrath, and we'll just go in and fucking heal. Right. The problem about bears, as opposed to another healer, is that if you spam the heals too needlessly, you know, say everyone's at full health, you know, and you spam the heals, you're going to run out. You're going to run out of heals. That's when my handy dandy potion of Wrath comes in. Boom. Now we can do it again. It's great. Also, Rush is a group run speed, if I haven't said that already. It's actually one of the strongest ones in the game, so it's incredibly nice. Let's talk about Sacrifice. Sacrifice is a lifesaver if and only if you're ready to take damage. It's one of those things that you're going to have to use your intuition for. It's really just about reacting to things, as opposed to like a heal over time type class like Runekeeper, where you're just maintaining all the heals, or a Minstrel, where you've got a bit of both, and then you're just sort of maintaining the buffs. Beorning is all about that visceral reaction healing. That's why I enjoy it, because people can like lose half their health, and I just fucking do this, boom, 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 and it get like full health. It's fun. It's quite a fun class. It's difficult to min-max, but you don't really need to. You just gotta heal. That's your job. If in doubt, focus on healing, and then worry about your debuffs and shit later on. But if you want to keep any debuff up, keep Piercing Roar up on any like major boss or a major enemy that's doing damage, because it does make a difference. You also have Claw Swipe, before I forget. On the Mark of Grimbeorn target, it gives them a little bit of a boof. It also stacks. Is there anything I'm missing? Oh yeah, leveling Roar as your stun. You may as well use it from range. Get the range trait. It's just one more point, and it helps instead of having to get really close to them. You may as well get the range. Nature's Wrath again just adds a bit of wrath. Not very important in healing. Corruptions. All right, corruptions are nice because it removes multiple corruptions. Again, you're a grown adult. You should be doing that shit anyway. Cleanse, it's got a fun mechanic, so depending on how many it cleanses, it gives you a bigger chance to crit for your next heal. So if you say your tank is like swarmed full of debuffs, he's stinky as shit, he needs a big clean, you cleanse his ass, and then you fucking start healing again. There's one thing I haven't talked about, and it's the funniest and the coolest skill in the game. Relentless Maul. Relentless Maul is your fucking bread and butter. I don't care how many people say Bellow off cooldown, right? Bellow off cooldown, keep everyone up and nice. But what if you need healing now? What if that shit's on cooldown and you need healing? Okay, well, boom. Now I'm a fucking bear, alright? And it's constant heals. And by the time that cools off, this is back up. So you can burst heal again. Alright, it's fucking great. Again, a lot of these things are depending on your situation. Really, you only want to go into man form to keep that up, and then focus on your bear heals. I don't know if that's the most efficient way, but I always find that if you're just running around and you're pressing these buttons, you're healing enough. This is a raid-wide heal, Nature's Salve. It's very strong, but it's got a long cooldown. There is a tracery you can use to reduce it, and I suggest getting that to gold if possible. The only downside, aside from no bubbles and shit, is that Beorning range is quite low. If you have a hunter standing on the other end of the fucking game world, he's not going to get those fucking heals, is he? So you tell those hunters to get closer. If they're not getting heals, you tell those hunters to get closer. Captains, do the fucking same already with your fucking banners and shit. Get those fucking range classes in more or less melee range, because everyone then gets heals. Everyone's happy. To be honest, Nature's Bond is just like 70% of all incoming healing is redirected to the target. I don't particularly find use for it, because these are potent enough. It was useful at 140, but I don't really find it too useful now. Right, let's talk about tanking finally.
Perkele, siihen koske, saatana vie.
Arguably the most simple line, because it's literally just staying in bear form and popping, like, keeping counter up and then keeping your cooldowns ready for when you need them. Okay, so the only real thing I need to explain here is Thunderous Roar is your AoE taunt, Vigilant Roar is a single target, but if you use these in tandem, this skill becomes very potent. So let's just start with that. And now it's just get the bead buffs on, stack guarded attack. You want to get that to, I think it's 5 or whatever, or I don't remember. Actually, I do, because I have... buff monitors is a very nice little tool to keep your buffs up, to maintain them, to see what the hell you need to be putting up and all the rest of it. Counter, evade chance, a chance to evade attacks, and then you can use this skill. Really, it's all about just keeping up Wrath, and say, like, let's imagine in our mind's eye that we have a lot of damage come in. Well, okay, I'll use fucking Thick and Tide, right? It's basically just like a big defensive cooldown, and I think it heals you when you get hit as well, so very nice. It's not really that complex tanking, because you don't really, as long as you maintain guarded, you're pretty much as tanky as you possibly can be, just by sitting your fat bear ass in bear form. Not really much else to explain. Why do I have these? I don't know. I just copied a fucking trait line because I'm a fucking unoriginal cunt, and I imagine that this is good for threats, but I find it is not very worth it, because you're just standing and hitting and standing and getting hit at. Get bear crack, you know? If you don't get bear crack, what are you doing? Your life. You know, if you don't have a huge stack of bear crack, you're broke.